So that's a short clip of kind of the education background of the Gulen charter schools. And one thing that you'll hear over and over is that these schools are better managed, they're doing a better job than public schools in the United States. But I think it's important for people to see that that is not the case. Whether it's the test scores, whether it's the teachers not having certification to teach certain classes, they always are less than what they seem to be. But due to a lot of marketing, due to a lot of PR that the Gulen movement has placed with the US media over the past 17 years, they're able to get very friendly reporting of their schools. Again, these schools are operating all over the United States. There's now 167. We expect 8 more to open this year. They're generating something in excess of $729 million a year. If I could, I'd like to show one more clip. This is a clip of a gentleman who left the Gulen movement, who lives in Cleveland, and he kind of talks a little bit about his journey to the United States and his background as a teacher. So let's go ahead and roll that clip. This is about 4 minutes long.
How did you become a follower of the Gulen?
I had friends from the movement. Day by day, I started to spend more time with them. We were going there having, breakfast or dinner, and their friend, and he was gonna come to the United States. They worked for one of the charter schools in Ohio. He offered me to come to the United States, so I accepted. And one day, the director of the school I was gonna work and called me and told me what to say at the U.S. consulate in Istanbul. And one day I went there and I got the visa. When I came to the United States, I started working at Ohio Science Academy, that is middle school located at Gulen, Ohio. I didn't have any teaching experience. I just get a substitute license, but I was supposed to teach, I think, 27 hours per week as a teacher. It's like a full-time position. They are acting secretly in the United States. They are refusing the connection to the organization, but 99.99% of Turkish teachers at the schools are the followers of Fethullah Gulen. All the charter schools managed by Turkish people are the part of the Hizmet movement. I didn't know that until I saw the TÜZÜK, their bylaws, the rules, how much money you can get. Any person in the movement, in Hizmet, has to follow these bylaws.
And what does A, B, C, D, and E stand for?
A, B, C, D, and E is the regions of the United States. As of October 2005, they divided the country into 5 regions. There is one regional manager. In each state, there is another manager, state manager. In each city, there is city manager. In each school has a director. He is responsible from the teachers, Turkish teacher, who work for the school. So it's divided, from top to the bottom.
Who's at the top?
Who's at the top? As I know, Fethullah Gulen. Fethullah Gulen lives in Salisbury, Pennsylvania. You cannot see him easily.
Sorry? Why is that? We were wondering if Mr. Gulen is speaking today.
Mr. Gulen?
Uh-huh.
Dr. Gulen.
nothing to hide from the people. All kinds of scam, immigration scam here going on. My base salary was supposed to be $4,000 because there's a prevailing wage for H-1B workers. So first year I was supposed to get $44,000, but our business manager was calculating how much money I got from the school and how much money I was supposed to get according to tutor. So if there's a difference, I was supposed to give that money back to his mate.
Was that in cash?
Yeah, cash.
Were you the only Turkish teacher that was paying a percentage of their salary to the administrator?
No, everybody, all the Turkish teachers. All the Turkish teachers were paying the percentage of their salary to the hizmet. Yeah, it's a scam.
We are the only country in the world where the Gulen movement has been able to open its schools and have them fully funded by the host country's taxpayers. Gulen charter schools are getting what is estimated to be approaching $500 million a year to support their charter schools.
None of the Turkish people come over here to open charter school to teach the US students science and math.
What are they here for?
I mean, what I can say that it's a good business.
Almost everything in our school is shipped over from Turkey. This is a picture of some lockers that came into our school this year. We had hundreds of these come to our school. You can see very large, it says made in Turkey on the box. This is a tag of a child's uniform. It says made in Turkey. Every chair in our school that is not a student desk chair is like this. They're all from Turkey. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
They were trying to open a new catering company so we can get the catering service for each school in the Ohio.
It takes about an hour and a half for the food to get to our school from Houston.
And why are they bringing it from Houston?
It's the catering service that they picked out. It's not a very good catering service. They had to go and order pizza because we ran out of food. Our basic needs aren't getting that because they are choosing to show preference to these specific Turkish companies.
So that gives a little bit of background about some of the teachers that have come over from Turkey on H-1B visas. These are followers of Fethullah Gulen. Many of them don't have any sort of prior teaching background. And in Texas, the Harmony charter schools operated by Fethullah Gulen's movement are considered H-1B dependent. There's so many H-1B visas issued to teachers and administrators at the Gulen schools in Texas that this is a special designation that's given by the US government. So I think I'll show one last clip, which is about the coup of 2016. We finished this film, Killing Ed, in March of 2016. We released it in New York City in 2016 in March. And I updated the film after the coup with some footage to show that in spite of everything that had happened in Turkey and the greater knowledge that we may have now of the Gulen movement in the United States and in Turkey and other countries, the US government, journalists here in the United States, congressmen, they still don't seem to take this situation extremely seriously. So we put together something to sort of update the film, and this is what you will see now as the epilogue version of the film that shows that very little has been done in spite of these anti-democratic events that occurred in July of 2016 in Turkey. So this is also a 4 or 5 minute clip.
The Gulen movement has been really smart in targeting politicians and people of influence, grooming them to be its sympathizers. They are using their schools, their interfaith dialogue centers.
Let's hold for just a second,
cultural
Adam.
Centers and its businesses to establish.
This is actually a different clip, I'm sorry. This is showing some of the political connections US politicians have to the Gulen movement. Go ahead.
A presence and the power. This is geopolitical. There are hundreds of these organizations, and then they have branches within states. They'll host these interfaith dialogue events. Among those are influential members of the community and politicians. These are typical patterns for all of these organizations. I think the American public deserves to demand accountability from these public figures and their involvement. What arrangement has been made between these two parties?
This is a great idea. Yeah. In Houston, there's a place that has interfaith.
Yes, that's it. That's it. But they, it's not something
There are lots of NGOs run by Gulen in the United States, all the same, and is a different platform.
They usually invite influential people to Turkey, governors, senators, congressmen, religious leaders, deans, academicians, and journalists. They try to make connection with them because they might use the connection in the future for their own purposes.
I'm sure it's a very pleasant trip, but it's a propaganda trip. You don't get a multi-thousand-dollar trip to Turkey for no reason. They'll take politicians. When they return, a lot of times these influential people will do favors for them.
Have you been invited on a trip from this group?
Pelican invited me each of the 3 years I was in this position to go on that trip. We had to contribute something to the airfare, but other than that, everything was free.
When I talked to a reporter from the Austin Statement, he had mentioned to me that he had taken a free Turkey trip along with some Texas legislators to learn about Turkey. When I had asked him to listen to my issues and my story about the construction falls in Austin, Texas, a week later he called me back and he said, "We're not interested."
Thousands of people have been on these propaganda trips to Turkey.
Our concern is that men, most of whom were educated and previously employed in Turkey, are here on H-1B visas, are not American citizens, and are operating 38 Harmony charter campuses. The New York Times links the Gulen to the Turkish charter school.
I have several of the Harmony schools in my district. I think they are fabulous because they are from Turkey, wonderful Turkey. I've been there twice. It's beautiful. You should go. You want to go? I'll take you.
Dr. Allen, I want to remind you that last regular session you passed Senate Resolution 85 honoring Fethullah Gulen for, among other things, quote, inspiring the Gulen movement, unquote. It didn't mention that Gulen was kicked out of Turkey for trying to return Turkey to an Islamist state and given asylum in America in 1999. Gulen is worth more than $50 billion.
I resigned from the school. I spoke to FBI, Department of Labor. I talked to other agencies, IRS, INS. I went back to Turkey. They sent one teacher, he was a science teacher at Horizon, the same school I work. They sent him back to Turkey to talk to me. They wanted me to sign a written statement saying that I manufactured all the documents. One of them is Tuzuk. I told them I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to lie for you. So after that, there are cops from narcotics in my house. They searched the house, they didn't find anything, and they put me in jail. And 2 days later, I learned that they charged me with international drug trafficking. Police went to a garbage can 500 feet away from my house, found 82 grams of heroin, and from the fake ID, the picture was on the fake ID was mine. But the thing is, I'm not a fugitive. I don't have any criminal history, so I don't need a fake ID.
You never been arrested?
Yeah, I haven't been arrested, but they can deny they don't have any allowance in police force, but they do. And what can I say? I cannot go back to Turkey. They will try to put me in jail again. They ruined my life, but I know there are many other, they ruin their life too. They are dangerous people. They are capable of doing all kinds of things.
Today's newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, has an article about the Gulen charter schools. Specifically, it's about the lawyers who have been hired by Turkey to challenge the schools that are tied to Fethullah Gulen and the Gulen movement. On one hand, I'm happy to see an article like this on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. On the other hand, it's disappointing. You know, even when I read a line like this, it says, Mr. Gulen's network is hard to define. Well, it's not that hard to define. Once you spend enough time looking into it and understanding how it works, it's actually very easy to identify. Newspapers are going to have to go deeper. While you would think that with the issues that have been going on in Turkey, the importance of Turkey as one of our allies, with the coup that just happened over the summer, and with the fact that it's well recognized that these schools are linked to the Gulen movement, they continue to open schools and to expand their enrollment. At the beginning of the 2016-17 school year, just recently, they opened 8 more, one of which is on Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. I'm not going to give up. These issues are too important. And as long as I can continue to help get the word out to others about what's going on, I will.
Since we finished the graphics in the film, which we finished those graphics in early 2016, you can see that even in that short period of time, about 18 months, there's been tremendous growth of the Gulen movement. It always shocks me to see the statistic that says $500 million is being given each year to these schools that are operated by the Gulen movement, and now it's over 700 million according to the latest research that we've done, based on the growing number of U.S. children that are enrolled in these schools. Again, I think these schools provide an ongoing problem for the government of Turkey, for people in Turkey that want to live in peace, because I don't think they really have the best interests of the children that they're teaching in mind. I think it's a way for the Gulen movement to access tax dollars for bonds, money, as the gentleman said in the film, that we had to rotoscope to keep his anonymity. This is a good business, and those business dollars keep rolling in, and a certain amount of that money is being skimmed for non-educational purposes, and I would guess that some of that money went to this coup attempt last year in Turkey. So I want to wrap it up there. I don't know if there's any questions. I'm happy to ask a couple of questions before I turn it over to John. I'm also going to be here afterwards. So I would thank you for watching these clips today with me. I hope it provides a little bit of information about the growth of the Gulen movement in the United States, especially through its charter schools. Thank you.